All right. Get this. Just want to do a quick stream here, man. You see, I was up watching some fights. I was actually up watching Valentina and Joanna fight. Then I was looking at some of these interviews. I was taking a look at it. Mackenzie Dern and Tisha Torres. All right. Hang on, let me fix my audio here. Okay. All right, there we go. Have to restart something. Okay. All right, so yeah, man, I'm gonna be on here like 30 minutes. I just wanted to get on here and talk a little bit about Mackenzie Dern and Tisha Torres because I was just up watching their the pre-fight interviews they were doing with media, and of course I was watching the longer interview that Mackenzie Dern did for the MMA Hour, and I was just looking at some of listening to some of the things that Mackenzie Dern was talking about. She really wants to go in there and try to stop Tisha Torres. You know, she seems pretty confident that she can go in there and do it, and that's what she's kind of looking to do. So, that's something that Tisha Torres is going to have to watch out for in this fight. You know, that's really going to have to be something that Tisha's going to have to look out for, which we all know that. Tisha Torres, she knows that the game plan of Mackenzie Dern is to get this fight down to the ground. Because when it all comes down to it, she knows that Tisha is about her stand up. She's about her stand up, and she knows that her best bet is to get this fight to the ground. She's been working on her stand up, more and more, and she's been improving. But we're talking about Tisha Torres, who based most of her performances off of winning on points. She's gone the distance in every single fight. All her wins, all her losses. Tisha Torres has been the distance every single fight. That's crazy, right? I mean, you don't really see that with too many fighters. I mean, in wins and losses. So, Tisha Torres, she's built for that long haul. So I could definitely see why Mackenzie Dern is looking for that submission win, and definitely looking to get the fight down to the ground. But it all comes down to if she can get it there, So it can either be a plus or a negative here, if she just looks for the submission win, because for one, she's going to have to make sure that her wrestling is on point. She's going to have to make sure that she can actually get the takedown to score this submission. Because if Tisha has in her mind, which she already stated at this interview, to keep this fight on the feet, then it's going to be a long night for Mackenzie Dern. If she looks to try to put pressure on Tisha and just chase after her, that's going to be just trouble for Mackenzie Dern because Tisha Torres, she's already has it in her mind to be on the back foot, pick her shots, either dart in and out or just play chess all night, right? So it has to be on Mackenzie Dern going into this fight to say, hey, I have to make sure that my wrestling is on point. I have to make sure that I have the strength and the gas tank to put that type of work in like Andrade did. That's why I went back and watched that fight the other day because, Jessica Andrade, she won that fight clearly over Tisha Torres, but Tisha Torres showed how tough she was in that one. And if she was able to withstand a lot of the pressure and a lot of the hard slams from Andrade. And that was, a few years back, of course. Um, I think she should have no problem going into this fight, handling somebody of Mackenzie Dern's size, right? So it's kind of a plus and a minus for Mackenzie Dern to go in there thinking that she could just go in there and, finish Tisha Torres, or going in there with that mindset. Because, I mean, it might help her if her wrestling is up to par, but it won't if she just continues to chase her every single round, right? And this is a 3-round fight. It's not 5 rounds like the Marina Rodriguez fight. So she could easily fall behind when Tisha Torres starts using her speed. When Torres starts using her speed and her striking, she can easily fall behind. I mean, she has the speed advantage and, of course, the kickboxing advantage as well. You know, but I think that Mackenzie is coming with more than one. I think she's going to come in with more than one way to try to win. I think she's just really looking to try to make that statement because she knows finishing Tisha Torres would be a big statement. She'd be doing something that those former champions and those title contenders couldn't do, like Joanna, Andrade, Wei Lee, and so on, right? But with that mindset, Tisha does have to watch out. She definitely has to watch out because Mackenzie Dern is dangerous at any point in the fight. I mean, it doesn't necessarily have to mean that she gets her to the ground. Like, she doesn't even have to get Tisha Torres fully to the ground, like on her back. All Tisha Torres has to do is make one little mistake of, giving up an arm or a leg, in the midst of Mackenzie Dern down on the ground. Like, if Mackenzie Dern gets to the ground and you're like standing right there in her zone, she could just lock onto an ankle and get a heel hook, right? Hannah Cyphers made that mistake. That's why I was going back and just looking at that. I was like, Hannah Cyphers was doing well as far as the clinch game and the striking. She showed the physical strength that she had, and she was kind of putting that work on Mackenzie Dern. But the minute the fight went down, all Mackenzie Dern needed was one, like I said, just needed a limb, and she was good to go. So that could be one of those scenarios that plays out in this fight. That's why I said Tisha Torres just has to watch out, because that is her mindset, to go in here and try to find some way to submit her. And I think deep down, even though Mackenzie Dern has been working on her striking, she has been working on her boxing, she has been making some improvements. I think she knows that it's still not up to par like it is, like Tisha Torres is. She almost made that mistake. She did mention that in the interview too, that she made that mistake, with Marina Rodriguez. She wanted to try it out. She wanted to work on it. She wanted to use it and see how far along she's improved. But she was just in there with someone who's been doing it for a lifetime in Marina Rodriguez. That's why she just got pieced up for the most part and only won 1 round, right? So I think she's going to go in here with more of a mindset to try to just pressure and fight and not try to go strike for strike with Tisha Torres. But another thing Tisha Torres has to watch out for is the power. She has to watch out for the power shots. All it takes is one big shot here. Again, the striking may not be on the level of like Joanna or Wei Lee, some of those other fighters that Tisha Torres fought, but all she needs to do is just land one big shot. Mackenzie Dern can't hurt you. She does have naturally heavy hands. She does have natural power. So you factor that in, staying in that pocket is a dangerous thing against Mackenzie Dern. That's why I said the other day too, man, like, I don't advise like Tisha staying in there any longer than she needs to, to get off maybe a 1-2, 1-2-3, maybe like a couple body kicks and get out, because the longer she stays in there, the more and more Mackenzie Dern want to take a chance and let them big shots go, right? So it's a pretty interesting interview, from both fighters. I watch, like I said, I watch the little 8-minute ones on the MMA Junkie website or the YouTube channel from Tisha and Mackenzie Dern. Tisha's feeling like this win should get her into the top 5, which rightfully so it should. I mean, it should get her into the top 5. What is she, 7 right now? And Mackenzie Dern is 5. So yeah, I mean, more than likely it should. I mean, this will be her 4th fight. If she wins, this will be her 4th win in a row. And Dern is 5. So with her being number 7, you take that person's spot because it's not too far off, right? Marcus Bell, what's up? Yeah, so if she takes that spot, more than likely she'll be number 5. And for Tisha, I think this shouldn't be like a title. This shouldn't be a title eliminator, but it should lead to a title eliminator, if that makes sense. This should lead to fighting for the number 1 contender spot. And I think that Mackenzie Dern, she has that in her mind as well. Like, this ain't gonna be for a title shot. You know what I mean? Because there's still not a long way to go, but there's still a little ways for them to go. And there's other fighters ahead of them that need their opportunities right now, right? Like Marina and Carla. So in the meantime, when they get this out of the way, this should be a number 1 contender type fight next for them. What else did Mackenzie Dern talk about? Hold on, let me pull this thing up because there was something else. Yeah, I want to talk about with Tisha Torres. Like, I know I say Tisha Torres needs to watch out because she's gonna be going for this submission, but Tisha, she's been watching. She has been watching Mackenzie, and like she says, she knows that the girl is dangerous on the ground. But even Tisha Torres made this point. She said her wrestling isn't all that good. She was like, it's okay. Her wrestling's all right. She says not really that good. So Tisha knows. Tisha knows that Mackenzie Dern won't have success, or she will not have success in these rounds unless her wrestling is unless it's polished from the last time out, unless she's improved, because that's a big part of her getting these fights to the ground too. Like, if you look at a lot of Mackenzie Dern's fights, like the past couple fights, she gets these things to the ground. She's actually been doing it with her hands. She's actually been doing it with her hands, and she's actually been getting submission wins off of other fighters' mistakes. Other fighters that want to go to the ground or make that mistake, like I said, of stepping in her zone. That's how she's been getting them. Or, she's been landing some big punches that rattle her opponents, and then boom, you know what I mean? She lands that shot, then she can just take you down. So she's rattling you with her hands, and she's depending on fighters to make mistakes. That's why, again, I say Tisha has to watch out and not make mistakes, because Mackenzie Dern is wide open. Like, when it comes to that, she's always looking at mistakes because that's how she gets her wins. Like, so Mackenzie Dern, like, we talk about her striking, but she is a smart fighter. She is a smart ground fighter. You know what I mean? Like, she may not be the best on her feet, but she is an intelligent fighter. I mean, you don't get a black belt, or you don't get that reputation in jiu-jitsu not being smart or not having IQ. So, Dern is smart when it comes to that, having that eye for when a fighter makes a mistake. You know what I mean? So she's going to be looking for those opportunities. But if you go back and look, like I said, with like Nina Ansaroff, I know she landed like a big shot in there. Then she went for the takedown. Hannah Cyphers and Randa Marcos, like I said, they kind of made mistakes. She dropped ABC. She's never really been in there just like taking fighters down, muscling them, and, slamming them like Andrade or like Wei Lee, or wrestling them to death. She doesn't really do that. She couldn't even get Ashley Yoder out of there. I think when a fighter has good wrestling, when their wrestling is good and, their striking is on point, Yoder, Rodriguez, Jandiroba, those fighters like that are going to get her respect. And, it's crazy too, man. Like running Jandaroba, Dern didn't want to go to the ground with her. You know what I mean? Like she really didn't want that because she knew that Jandaroba, her jujitsu was just as good, right? She wanted to stand with her instead. They both turned it into a stand-up fight. So it was like there are times when Dern knows to show that respect, but she's really getting a lot of her submission wins off of those mistakes. Yeah, Marcus, like bait trap. She's looking to bait you and find that opening. But I really think in this fight, unlike some of those past fights, she is going to be looking to try something a little different. Try something different to try to get a submission. To get it to the ground. Like I really think she will try to wrestle with Tisha, but again, I favor Tisha when it comes to the wrestling. I really do. But I think that she's going to want to take a chance here and get it to the ground. Because, one thing she said in this interview, too, is that, she don't want to make that mistake and, do like she did Marina Rodriguez. But she did also say she will be using her striking, because, like she said, she's dealing with a fighter that's a little bit smaller now. Somebody a little bit smaller that she can get her hands on, right? So I'm looking forward to this one. This is a strawweight fight I'm looking forward to. This one, of course, Lemos and Andrade later this month. But this is a big one. It's a big one to me just because, I want to see what direction Tisha can go back. She can go in after getting, a couple of wins in a row and seeing if Dern can pull off the submission win. I mean, if anybody gets submitted, I think, yeah, it will be Tisha, of course, because this is Dern. This is Dern. That's just how good she is on the ground. But it's not going to be easy because you got to remember, if she didn't really get Marina Rodriguez in that much trouble after the second round, I don't really see that being a big problem here with Tisha. I mean, I was surprised how Marina was just surviving that second round. So we'll see, man. Yeah, let me pull up the interview because, like I said, I'll be on here like another 15 minutes. I just want to kind of talk on some points here because, Tisha made some good points. Like she said, her wrestling is not up to par like some people think. But of course, like a lot of us have been watching, and we know that that's a part of Mackenzie Dern that she really needs to work on. Lolita, what's going on? And I'll probably do my pick later on today. I just kind of wanted to talk about this, but yeah, I'll drop a pick video later. I mean, y'all know who I got though. Let's see here.
Win here, as you said, top 5. I mean, the tape, and I just wonder if you've been surprised, like in watching her fights, like how willing it seems people are to grapple with her sometimes, but it just seems like kind of a mistake.
I don't know if they're necessarily willing. I just think they don't do the right things to stay away from it at times. I mean, she's not the best wrestler. Her wrestling is okay. But yeah, I think my game plan and just my style in general is a bad matchup for her.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so like she said, a lot of the fighters that she fights, that get into that zone with her and grapple with her, they pretty much, like she said, they're making a mistake. They're making a mistake of getting into her world. But they forget, like Tisha said, her wrestling is not that good, So some of these fighters, I think they just get intimidated when they get in close. But there's always kind of a way to escape from Mackenzie Dern. Marina proved that. I think Marina Rodriguez proved that as well, that you can always survive because that one big element, that I'm still getting a grasp on is wrestling. You know what I mean? Like me as a boxing fan and Muay Thai fan, like you really, really get your eyes open to see how important wrestling is in this game. And I think she doesn't really use that element. That's what keeps her from being so completely dangerous, and I think somebody like Tisha, who has been wrestling for a long time and, her wrestling is better than Dern's, she knows how far she could probably take it, as far as even like in a clinch, like how far I can go. I could probably take her down, and I know how much danger I'm in this top position, and boom, I can get out after I just, control her for maybe a minute or two, then I can get up and go, right? So she knows that. And it's like she said again, Dern's wrestling is okay. Dern's wrestling is okay. So she knows that's something where she can capitalize. And overall, she thinks it's a bad style matchup, which it could be. I mean, what do y'all think? Is Tisha Torres really a bad style matchup for Dern? I mean, I think so. I think it is. I mean, if you're dealing with a fighter that likes to move, has the has the hand speed, has been here time and time again, has the experience, um, never been finished, been the distance in all wins and losses. Tisha's a fighter that knows what to do every single round. She knows what to do every single round. Well, Dern, she's never been finished either, right? So, but the difference is Dern has finished fighters. That's what I'm saying. Like, Tisha Torres has pretty much fought every single round in her career. You know what I mean? Every single round that was uh, regulated to a fight, right? That's crazy. Like, you never really see that too much. So Tisha's been every single round that's been assigned to a fight, win or lose. So she knows how to fight in deep waters. I think she knows how to make adjustments now. Um, has the gas tank for it. Knows how to turn it up, turn it down. So that's all. To me, it all kind of spells bad matchup. Again, the speed, and I think going back to the Andrade fight, that's why I had to show that one, is because I saw good things in that fight from Tisha. I mean, that's just Andrade. I mean, you only do so much with Andrade's strength, but what Tisha was able to do with that type of one-dimensional fighter, I think would work well against a Mackenzie Dern, because Mackenzie Dern isn't as strong and she isn't as fast or as athletic as Andrade. I mean, she is athletic somewhat, but she's not as athletic as Andrade. And if you could take Andrade's punch, I think she's good with it. But I mean, I wouldn't advise her to take too many blows from Mackenzie Dern, but still, you know what I mean? Like, Tisha knows how to roll with the shots of these wild punches. So on that note, I do kind of think it is a bad style matchup for her, for Mackenzie Dern, but we'll see. We'll see. I mean, she talked about something else in that Ariel Helwani interview, Mackenzie Dern, that is. She was talking about how some people criticize her being sloppy, and she was like, well, if I get the win, does it matter if I'm sloppy or not? Nobody's perfect, but I don't think it's the fact that people are like criticizing, that she got the win and was sloppy way. It's just kind of looking at, well, it is let me rephrase that. It is that the fact that people are criticizing that, because they know that the higher you get up in the rankings, you can't fight sloppy, right? I mean, it's good to get a win, if you can get a win any way you can, but when you get to the championship level, you can't be sloppy. I mean, there's always room for error, but that's only if you're on that championship level, like a Valentina, right? Yo, what's going on, Mojo? Good morning. Just doing an early stream here. I wanted to just talk about some stuff here. Marcus said, another thing, you can't be off balance with Dern, since this will give her a chance to take you down. Right. MMAR says she looked like a bantamweight in that fight against Samantha Cooper. Yeah, she was pretty close to it. MMAR said, I don't think so. Dern handled Marina strikers. She definitely can handle Tisha's. When you say handle, like, do you just mean like power? I mean, because I'm not just talking about power. I mean, um, can she make the adjustment to the striking and take it away from Tisha? That's what I mean. Like, not power. Because yes, she handled Marina's power, but she didn't handle her overall skill set. She didn't. You know, Marina Rodriguez outstruck her, 4 rounds. So, what I'm looking for is, do you think she can handle the speed? Do you think she can handle the angles? And do you think she can handle the 1-2s? Can she take away the 1-2? Because Tisha don't really pack that much power. She doesn't pack a great deal of power because Andrade walked through a lot of punches. See, the thing is, Andrade, she could walk through punches because she had a game plan to just go in and wrestle and maul and pick Tisha up. She knew she had the chin. There was a lack of power, and she had the strength. But does Mackenzie Dern have those things where she can just walk through Tisha? And I think, in my opinion, Tisha's actually gotten a little bit more offensive. I think she's kind of been putting a little bit more pop on her shots since then. That was like 4 years ago. She actually has been kind of turning it up and taking more chances, which could be a negative. Could be a negative, but I'm not sure. Like, her kicks in that Brianna Van Buren fight, they were like a little bit more lethal, than they ever been. She's kicking to the body, landing harder shots even on Angela Hill. So we'll see if she comes with that much assertiveness in this fight, though. But yeah, overall, I think it's going to be a good one, man. And I think with Dern's mindset, the way she's been talking, that Tisha does have to watch out. She definitely have to watch out. It is going to have to be more of a cautious fight for Tisha, I think. And I think she's ready for that because, like she said, she's going to be ready for her wanting to get the fight to the ground. And, it's not just what the fans think, too. She says, she is going to be using her stand-up here. She knows she has a superior stand-up. So I think it is going to be a cautious fight because when you're dealing with these specialists, man, like Mackenzie Dern, you take that one weapon away, it can be a little bit of an easier night. But with somebody like Dern, she's been adding a little bit more to her game, and we'll see, if that's an improved stand-up game or if it's an improved wrestling approach. But yeah, I think it'll be a cautious fight early on from Tisha. I think it's really going to be Dern wanting to push the fight. So with Dern pushing the fight, watch out. It's very important because the minute she gets a limb or gets you down, it's going to be Dern's fight. MMA arts, I think Tisha will be cautious to avoid takedowns. Mackenzie might hurt her on the feet, the way could be have hurt Connor. Possible. Like, if one of them punches land, it's possible, but I don't know. I don't really see anything that big landing as long as she stays out of the pocket. Like, Tisha has a pretty good chin. Like, whose chin is hard? I mean, who you think hits harder, Dern or Andrade? Like, you think Dern's punching power is anywhere near that? Let's see though.
Top five. I mean, are you letting yourself think? Like, I mean, I would think like the next fight could be maybe a number one contender fight. Depending on how things shake out. We know that there's a couple title fights maybe lined up, but I mean, are you letting yourself think that far? Then maybe the next.
Yeah, it should be a number one contender fight though.
For sure,
after this,
win over Mackenzie. I think definitely the next fight would be a number one contender spot.
Last thing for me, I guess, knowing that, what type of fight do you need to have here? I mean, do you need to go get a finish and put some kind of exclamation point on it, or is it just enough to beat somebody as respected as Mackenzie is?
I think beating her is enough to get a contender shot, but if I was to go out there and get a decisive win where I knock her out, I submit her, especially if I submitted her, I would definitely be vying for that title shot my next fight.
So yeah, I mean that would be for Tisha. I mean, like, it's expected with her, like, get a win and she moves on because that's kind of how she's kind of made a reputation. She's a decision fighter, right? She fights. She fights all rounds. What I mean? She's a point fighter, so that would be expected. So, however, if she won it 30-27, close decision, she could pretty much move on from that. But if she did get as big, like, just dominant performance. I mean, just like a straight up beat down. Like I'm talking about serious 30-27 or like 30-26. Have like a couple 10-8 rounds, or if she got like let's say if she did get a knockout, or if she submitted her. I mean, that would be even bigger. I think yes, she probably would try to make that argument. Like, but even then, like let's say if she did submit Mackenzie Dern, that's a big highlight. But I don't know if that'd be like title shot worthy. Like, what do y'all think? Like, title shot worthy if she goes in there and submits Mackenzie Dern. I mean, the argument could be made, but you still have to get in line. You still have to get in line, like behind Marina, in my opinion. Like, so in the meantime, you might as well get you another fight to like solidify your position. I think because it's still Carla and Marina next. That's the lineup, right? Let's see. So Mackenzie Dern. Oops, let's turn that ad down. So Mackenzie Dern, she predicts a strong rebound versus Tisha. I'm interested to see what type of approach she takes with the striking this time because, she did take the wrong approach in that Marina fight, trying to strike with her. Let's see.
I can just study. I think I matured so much as a fighter after that fight. Yeah, I mean, I went through a lot of adversity in that fight.
Some people actually think Mackenzie beat Marina Rodriguez. I actually heard people think that. I was like, what?
So it just kind of shows that when you get to the top, a little mistake or a little second guessing. I guess I'd say I did a lot in that fight. I second guessed myself on a lot of things, even on the ground. I was thinking, should I ground and pound more? Should I go for the submission? Just go. That's what it's about. We're here to fight.
Second guessing himself on the ground too. Dang. That's something I don't really see a lot of from Mackenzie Dern. Like maybe that's something she needs to add to her game. Like besides getting takedowns and wrestling, is her ground and pound. She's so fluid on the ground, so she just starts going for those transitions. But if you're dealing with like a strong fighter like Tisha, I think you would have to use ground and pound, to like wear him down and just beat him up. High Five said, has Tisha KO'd anyone? If Dern gets to absorb her striking, Dern will bring the fight to the ground because her winnings were all on the ground. No, Tisha's never KO'd anybody. MMA Art said, I think the winner of Torres Dern versus the winner of Wei Lee Joanna for the #1 contender fight, because Marina's next in line for the title. Right, that would be good. Wei Lee was able to hold Tisha on the ground long, and imagine what Dern can do. I think Wei Lee could do that because Wei Lee was like strong though. Like Wei Lee's got the wrestling for it. I don't know if Dern can actually hold her like that. Like Dern couldn't even hold Marina Rodriguez down, right? Wei Lee is a grinder. Like Wei Lee to me is a better wrestler than Mackenzie Dern. Like you could see her and Tisha lock up a few times, and like Wei Lee was strong with it. And her ability to keep her down was like grinding her elbow in Tisha's face and like working her. But like I don't know if Dern really does that type of job, on the ground. Like she even said herself, like she was second guessing herself in the Marina fight. Like, should she ground and pound, or should she do this? Should she do that? So I don't know. I don't know. Like, I don't know if that type of approach would work for her, because I think Tisha Torres is physically stronger than Mackenzie Dern. Mackenzie Dern is bigger, but I don't think she's as strong. Definitely dangerous though, as far as when it comes to her submissions. I mean, Tisha on her back, you don't want to be there. Zama said Torres will absolutely neutralize her miserable night from Mackenzie Dern. Nova Omega, what's going on? He said he loves Tisha Torres' body. Yeah, she's in great shape, man. She's like, definitely rate her as like top 5 like best figures in WMMA. Like Tisha Torres is up there, Jinyu Fry's up there. Yeah, she definitely is in great shape. Since she's been doing them. Well, she's been physically fit like that, but she's started doing those fitness things like back in November or something like that. But she said the weight cuts are pretty rough on them. Making that like that, doing that fitness competition. The weight cuts are different. So she said she felt her body like fluctuating differently. Like the weight was different. So she said she's probably not going to do those anymore when she's got like fights coming up, which is smart. Because like the whole weight process with cutting weight for fitness modeling and bodybuilding, that's a totally different thing than fighting. High Five said the loser of Weili Joanna is the next fight for the winner of Tisha Dern. Yeah, I'll take that too. I mean, I still would love to see Dern versus Joanna. High Five. I mean, what about you? Dern Joanna's a good fight. Dern's controlling grappling miles better than Weili. She won't be able to take down Torres. Yeah, her grappling is better, but Weili, her wrestling and her strength to me are better than Mackenzie Dern. That's why she was able to get her down and keep her down. Mario Yamasaki, what's up? He said he believes Dern can do it. How do you got her winning? Novo Omega said, what are your thoughts on Weili versus Joanna? The rematch? I think the rematch is really hard to say. Like, I think, well, if you're talking about the first fight, I think the first fight's a classic, man. The first fight, that's a great fight. The first fight was close. I had it going to Weili 2 times. I had it a draw once. I had it once for Joanna. I had it all over the place, man. Like, that's how good of. I don't even care about the decision anymore. I just like watching the fight. Now, the second fight, I think is going to be more cautious. I think there are going to be moments where they do go at it, but I don't know if Joanna really wants to take them kind of chances anymore, especially, thinking of your brain and stuff like that. So the rematch is not confirmed yet. I think Weili wants to come back in July or August, and Joanna wanted to come back this month, but doesn't have a fight lined up. So Joanna's trying to come back sooner than Weili, so I don't even know if that rematch is in the cards for right now. Lolita said her physique is impressive and those bodybuilders look fantastic, but that look does not equal strength and endurance. No, not at all. Yeah, like it looks great, but you see some of those fighters gas out quick. I seen boxers, come into the ring looking like bodybuilders that gas out quick, man. So it's a totally different realm. So I think she's doing right. She did one, but she said she's gonna try to avoid doing that during fight time. Exactly. Yeah. High five. That's what I was saying. Like when Zom said, Dern is a better grappler and has better ground control. Yeah, I agree with that. But the reason Weili is able to keep a strong fighter down like Torres is because she was stronger and she's a better wrestler. Yeah. Mario said Dern is too big and she's not the same fighter. She's getting better in every fight, win or lose. Hey, I agree she's getting better. But I think Tisha's just already been polished on the feet for so long. Like her IQ is pretty high when it comes to her stand-up. Like she had a pretty good stand-up game back in 2013. You know what I mean? Like it was a lot of speed, but she had a nice game even back then. So I think it's really improved more so over the years. Like she's been comfortable on the feet. So I think if she does like she says in this interview and just says, I'm gonna stick to this game, which is, the stand-up, and do what these other fighters didn't know how to do as far as avoiding the ground, I should be good. High Five said Joanna said UFC isn't giving her the money she wanted. That's why there's no offer yet. I guess Whaley wants Carla next if she loses against Rose. And that's not a bad fight. I'll take that too. Carla versus Whaley. Or, she could get the winner of Lemos Andrade at the end of this month. High Five said Joanna. Oh, yeah, read that. Okay. Yeah, Marcus said Tisha's already been battle tested. Yeah, she's been battle tested, like, chin wise, on the ground, being dominated. She's dealt with long, tall strikers. She's very battle tested. I mean, her 4-fight losing streak ain't really anything to like dismiss her about. It's actually a time to give her praise, especially when she's been dealing with, former champion after former champion. Like that 4-fight losing streak, I think was a blessing because it showed how tough she is and what she needs to work on. And most of those fights were like just fights where you say there's no way she can win because she was dealing with just the best there, Joanna, Andrade. And none of them could stop her. Lolita said, I saw a pic of Joanna. She was heavier, still looking fit, but I didn't like the way her body looked. It was thick with fake looking boobs, too full, fake. Yeah, she's been looking like a flyweight now. I mean, I don't know why she don't come back at flyweight. Like, I don't really want to see Ebos at 125. I'd rather see Joanna at 125. He said UFC will decide Whaley and Joanna will fight after Carla versus Rose. Even Mark said, how can you guys tell if Whaley is stronger than Dern? How? Well, you got to look at how the approach is taken in these fights. Look at the clinch work. Look at how Marina Rodriguez was able to slide out and not really be in trouble with Mackenzie Dern as far as, physical strength, and who gets stronger down the stretch in the fight. Like, who stays stronger down the stretch in a fight? Like, that's Whaley to me. Mackenzie Dern hasn't really showed that physical type strength. She's big, but it's not really like a physical presence there. You know what I mean? Like, as far as her being able to maul you and push you and just take control of you. When you look at Whaley and how she was able to withstand a lot of power shots and handle a fighter like Joanna, I think those are some hard evidence, hard cases of evidence there that Whaley is stronger than her. Mario Yamasaki, I want Dern to stop Torres, but I think Torres will win. Yeah, I think so too. I think she'll win, but only if the submission happens. Believe me, I'm not going to be shocked here. I am going for Torres. Lemos Andrade, who you got? Andrade looking real thick and solid, but so is Lemos. Man, I can tell you one thing: it's going to be a good doggone fight. That's all I can tell you right now. I mean, it's a 5-round fight. And if it went the distance, I got to give both fighters props. If it goes the distance, because that means we talking about two tough warriors that can withstand both of what they do. But Lemos punches like a mule, and that's the one thing she has is that accuracy. I mean, Andrade is not Angela Hill when it comes to stand up and awkwardness. Andrade's head is on the line, but Andrade has been working on her striking. I don't know, man. If both of them got power to knock each other out, though, that's the thing. Both of them have the power to knock each other out. I just don't think Andrade has the same type of technique. So we'll talk about it more after this fight. I just gotta wait. I'm I'm winning a good fight though. High Five said, "How can't we know Whaley isn't stronger than Dern? How her opponents look after the fight. Yeah, she is a strong fighter, man. So I'm just saying, like, it's evident in how she moves too. Like, it's just evident in how she moves and what she was able to do in her fights. I mean, Ashley Yoder gave Mackenzie Dern some trouble, and I think Whaley would ragdoll Ashley Yoder. Yeah, Andrade and them, Andrade, she trains with mostly women, like some of the Invicta girls that she's cornering. Lamos, yeah, and Whaley, they train with men mostly. And I think that's good too because it doesn't really stand in the way of them picking fighters. Like Manon Furo trains with her camp, a lot of guys in the camp, some women, of course, but Manon's mostly training with men. So there's really never that situation where they come across having to say, "Oh, I can't fight this person because I train with them." You know what I mean? They don't put themselves in that type of they don't put that themselves in that type of predicament where they say, "Oh, I can't fight this person. I train with him." Like Andrade, she'll fight anybody. Lemos will fight anybody because there's no friendship built there. But I've been watching Andrade, her camp. Like she's been boxing nicely. Working on her boxing, looking a little bit more dangerous with the hands. Yeah, her body shots and uppercuts. Yeah, they are dangerous, man. But yeah, man, I'm about to get up out of here. Like I said, I'm looking forward to this Dern fight. I'm gonna drop my pick later this afternoon. I think Mackenzie Dern, she definitely is bringing a big threat to Tecia Torres, but I don't think it's gonna be somewhere Ticia's like gonna be completely outgunned or where it's a situation like you need to be worried. I mean, again, look at the 4 fights she lost. I think that was the most dangerous she's ever been in. I don't think Dern's really gonna bring a big threat, but with that being said, she still needs to watch out. She still needs to watch out for the wild card that Dern can pull off here. Wild punches, um, snatching up a limb. Like I said, she doesn't have to be on the ground. Dern can grab an ankle. She could grab an arm as you try to slide out. She's always like I said, she's always on it. She's educated on the ground. So those are the elements I'm saying that she has to watch out for Tecia Torres. And the mindset, Tecia has never been stopped, and that seems to be on Mackenzie Dern's mind to go in there and try to submit. She said her mind is more focused now to say, stop second guessing yourself, get her down. If you get her down, go for the submission. So I think her jiu-jitsu is really, really going to be her big target here. And they said they watched footage. They've been watching a lot of footage. They said they watched all of Ticia's fights. So, they are trying to master some game plans on taking it down. So, yeah, those are the points that I just wanted to talk about because, I said she's dangerous. But it doesn't really tense me up like the Andrade and Joanna fight did because I did kind of think Joanna would have stopped Tecia at the time, but when she didn't, I was like, wow, Ticia's tough. But I think Dern has a big chance of getting a submission win here. Definitely does. Lolita says I'm going for Dern with you. I'm going for Torres. I am going for Tecia Torres in this one. High Five said, I wonder why Joanna thinks her match with Whaley will give her a title shot because she clearly needs 2 wins. She thinks she's on that level, man. She still thinks she's on that level. I mean, she's a pioneer in it, but she thinks that she still holds that type of weight, but I don't think she does. I don't think so. There's a line. She's got to get in line. There's Carla, Marina, possibly Dern or Torres, Lemos Andrade. So many different looks now. You can't run it back off of what you did in the past. I mean, if she would have came back earlier and probably fought Dern, she probably would have secured herself a little something. because she could have said, "Oh, I beat Dern. I fight Marina Rodriguez, and then boom, I fight Marina Rodriguez." That'll definitely, if she came back and beat Dern and Rodriguez, that would have secured her something, I think. If she really wants the belt again, but I think she really wants that. She wants that money. She wants that cheese, man. But they're not giving it to her like that, so she just wants to go for gold one more time. All right, y'all. I'm getting up out of here. I am going to do a fight companion. I know if you ask Lolita, I'm going to do a fight companion Saturday. I might be on for the whole card. We'll see. UFC 273. I'm going to do the fights. I'm going to do the women fights early on the early prelims. And then I'll probably do, let me see, the main card starting at Dern Torres. I'll do the main card. I'll do the last 4 fights on the card, but I will do the Aspen Ladd and Rocky fight. Let me see, okay, Hanson, Pierre Rodriguez might do that, but yeah, I'll do those fights. Starting, yeah, let's see who's on there. Mark Madsen. Yeah, I'll start with Dern Torres. I'll do it that night. So yeah, y'all tune in Saturday. I'll be on here doing those. Just sitting back, chilling, watching the fights, and calling it with y'all. So, like always, make sure y'all subscribe, hit that thumbs up and that bell icon so y'all notified when I go live. And shout out to everybody in the chat. Combo Breaker 99. I'm out. Subscribe. See y'all Saturday. Peace.